The stuff that Dean Lyons was just saying about culture and leadership, it sounds like he knows a lot more about that. We're kind of discovering it now, and it's just running through Twitter as really the most important thing we can think about. I mean, I'm going to be arguing with some people later this month who proposed a question, the argument that the problems of tomorrow are bigger than the entrepreneurs of today. And as I thought about that statement, I just thought it was such a ridiculous statement, because problems aren't caused by one person. They're caused by many people working in concert to create a phenomena that's much bigger than any of us could have imagined, things like global warming. And their fundamental mistake is that they're talking about an entrepreneur as if it's an individual. And an entrepreneur hopefully embodies the soul of an artist, the character of a leader, and has the ability to bring to them the types of smart people, the types of people that you don't have that access to the information, but they do. They're smarter than you, and together you work to become greater than the sum of your parts. You become a superorganism, and you can create phenomena that is way bigger than any of you combined. And then, like you mentioned, you have companies now. You have such an open, free exchange going on, especially here in Silicon Valley and in California. It's so different from New York. I just got back from New York last night. I used to work in New York. Out here, companies are coming together. They're taking that culture, that superorganism that they've created, and then they're linking them together. So these guys we're gonna blow these guys away next month when we argue about this, because the entrepreneurs of today are certainly way more powerful than the problems that we have tomorrow. I think we can rise up to them. Anyways, that's not what we're talking about today, but I'm going to schedule some time with you. So I want to talk about Twitter. I want to talk a little bit about how it got started, and how people are using it, how it surprised us, things that happened during creating it. But as I was putting these slides together yesterday, I was just thinking about these concepts of play and disruption, and I was just having sort of all these kind of flashbacks from my childhood, like play and disruption, like, and I realized that sort of everything that I've ever done that's ended up good has been because I was just playing around, and I was screwing things up, and I was doing what I should not have been doing, and just exploring. I mean, I remember just as a kid, my mom was adopted, and her father worked for the telephone company, and he died before I ever met him, but downstairs in the basement, he had this like giant apothecary chest. It was like one of those giant Chinese apothecary chests with all these little drawers. And on each drawer, it said gears, sprockets, screws, wires, springs. And I would, on the weekends, I would eat my breakfast. And I was like 5 years old or something. And I would be like, all right, I got to go downstairs and get to work. And my mom would be like, what do you mean? I was like, I got to go invent some stuff. And I would go downstairs, and I would just there was a vise, and there was some tools, and I would just attach all these things together, and I would be down there for 4 hours, until I was exhausted. I'd go upstairs, whew, all right, that's some good work. It's good work done there today. And it was just the funnest thing ever. I didn't know what I was doing, but I was maybe something, who knows, maybe I could have invented something. And then, my mom had this friend too that she would take me over to visit, and her friend's husband was an electrician. So in his basement, he had some really good stuff in his basement. And every time I went over there, now I'm I don't know, 7 years old or whatever, I was like, Bob, how's it going? Listen, I got some ideas. And he's like, oh, this kid again, Jesus. And I was like, listen, I got an idea, something I think we can build today before we leave. And he's like, oh yeah? Okay, well, what is it? And I was like, all right, well, I got these 2 empty soda bottles. They're 2-liter soda bottles. I'm thinking, we can put these bad boys on my back, get a little hose, make some scuba tanks, I can breathe underwater. And he's just first of all, that's a terrible idea. And second of all, we'd need an air compressor or something. I was like, you don't have an air compressor? Wow, what kind of lab is this? So but then he'd be like, all right. I was like, well, what at least do you have? And he's like, all right, well, I got this speaker that makes this horrible noise, and I got this big battery, and I have these flat metal rods that when you push on them, if you hook them up to the speaker in the right way, the speaker will make a horrible noise. And I was like, all right, that's perfect. I think I know how we can use this. So we created this invention, which when you step on it, the speaker just goes, makes this really loud, horrible noise. So while my mom was visiting with her friend, We built this stuff together. I smuggled it out in a backpack, brought it home, slipped it under the rug under my bed, put the speaker under my bed, and then got in the covers. And I was like, Mom, you forgot to kiss me goodnight. And she was like, oh, why is he being so cute? He's so cute. I gotta kiss him goodnight. And she steps on the carpet, and this thing just goes crazy and makes this horrible noise. She's almost had a heart attack. I almost killed my mom. And I was like, that was a good invention. That totally worked.